Adut Salvakir's appointment, nepotism, merit, and the burden of proof. Juba/BOR. The appointment of Adut Salvakir Mayardit as senior presidential envoy on special programs has stirred widespread debate in South Sudan, highlighting a growing tension between perceptions of nepotism and hopes for new, youthful leadership. The announcement, made earlier this month by the Office of the President, has drawn both praise and criticism. Supporters see Adut as a bold and eloquent public figure who could inject fresh energy into the presidency, while critics dismiss her rise as a product of family ties rather than competence. Voices from Jonglei. The burden of proof rests on her shoulders. In Jonglei State, Ur County legislator Wayne Bummaker urged caution in assessing Adut's new role. While praising her confidence and oratory skills, he said South Sudanese would ultimately judge her by actions, not speeches. Honorable Adut Salvakir is an outstanding public speaker with unmatched confidence, Macker said. But South Sudanese remain skeptical and somewhat confused as to whether her genuine intentions will truly translate into tangible actions capable of uniting our seemingly disintegrated nation. Drawing on cultural metaphors, Macker compared her rise to the newer proverb, Guan Yang Ci A Boom, meaning the owner of the cow has been entrusted to protect it, suggesting she has long been positioned for leadership by virtue of her birth. But he also cautioned that unlike symbolic sayings, Adut must now demonstrate concrete results in governance and national unity. Nepotism or opportunity. The debate over first family appointments. President Salva Kiir's decision to appoint his daughter comes amid persistent concerns about nepotism in South Sudan's political system. Critics argue that such appointments entrench family dynasties and stifle opportunities for broader political participation. In recent years, Kiir has faced criticism for concentrating power within his close allies and family members, raising fears that South Sudan's young democracy risks sliding further toward patrimonial politics. Yet defenders of Adut's appointment point to her track record as a confident speaker and advocate on issues of reconciliation, justice, and resource sharing. They argue that sidelining her merely because of her family background would amount to overlooking capable leadership at a time when the country urgently needs new voices. Women in leadership, breaking barriers, or tokenism. Adut's rise also sparks conversations about the role of women in South Sudanese politics. Despite constitutional guarantees of 35% women's representation, female leaders remain underrepresented in decision-making circles. Women in leadership, breaking barriers, or tokenism. Adut's rise also sparks conversations about the role of women in South Sudanese politics. Despite constitutional guarantees of 35% women's representation, female leaders remain underrepresented in decision-making circles. Analysts note that Adut's appointment could inspire a new generation of young women to aspire to public office. However, skeptics warn that her presence alone does not guarantee meaningful gender inclusion unless she actively champions policies that expand women's political participation nationwide. The road ahead: dialogue, reform, and national unity. As South Sudan inches toward the 2026 general elections, the spotlight will remain on Adut's performance. Her ability to influence dialogue among warring factions, push for reforms within government, and promote inclusivity will determine whether her appointment is remembered as a turning point or another example of elite privilege. Wayne Bummaker summarized the challenge best. The burden of proof rests entirely on Adut's shoulders. She must be judged not by her family background, but by her ability to deliver tangible change through inclusive leadership and national unity. For now, the nation watches closely, waiting to see if Adut Salvakir can prove herself as more than the daughter of the president, but as a leader in her own right. U.S. to send more deportees to South Sudan and Uganda under new agreement. Washington, D.C. The United States government has announced plans to expand deportations to South Sudan and Uganda under a new bilateral arrangement with the two East African nations. According to officials from the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, the agreement covers not only individuals with ties to South Sudan or Uganda, but also migrants of other nationalities who have exhausted legal options to remain in the U.S. Those slated for deportation reportedly include Cubans, Ecuadorians, Mexicans, and Thai nationals, among others. The decision has raised questions over why deportees from diverse backgrounds are being relocated to East Africa rather than their countries of origin. While U.S. officials have yet to provide a full explanation, sources suggest that Washington is relying on so-called third country agreements, in which partner nations accept non-citizens in exchange for political and economic support. Neither South Sudan nor Uganda has issued an official statement on the deal. However, analysts note that both governments rely heavily on foreign aid and may be seeking closer diplomatic ties with Washington in exchange for cooperation on migration management. Human rights advocates warn that such deportations could expose migrants to unsafe conditions. South Sudan continues to face security challenges, political instability, and limited infrastructure, while Uganda already hosts one of the world's largest refugee populations. Rights groups argue that deportees may lack legal status, face economic hardship, or become vulnerable to exploitation. This is essentially outsourcing U.S. immigration enforcement to countries ill-equipped to handle the burden, said one migration expert based in Nairobi. It raises serious questions about accountability, transparency, and the safety of those being deported. The announcement has sparked concern among diaspora communities in the United States. South Sudanese community leaders in Minnesota and Nebraska, home to large South Sudanese populations, described the policy as reckless and irresponsible. They warned that deportees sent to Juba could face extreme hardship in a country already struggling with displacement, food insecurity, and political unrest. This is a dangerous gamble with people's lives, said a South Sudanese American pastor in Omaha. If the U.S. government cannot guarantee safety and resettlement conditions, it should not be sending vulnerable people to a war-torn country. South Sudan's Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Dr. Wek Mamer Kwol, has formally submitted a Memorandum of Understanding, 2 agreements, and a treaty with the United Arab Emirates to the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, TNLA, for review and approval. The documents include a Memorandum of Understanding, 2 agreements, and a treaty between the government of the Republic of South Sudan and the United Arab Emirates. Among the agreements presented by the minister is the Memorandum of Understanding concerning the exemption of entry visa requirements between the 2 governments. Additionally, there is an agreement for air services between and beyond their respective territories, an agreement for the avoidance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income, and a bilateral investment treaty between the Republic of South Sudan and the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Weck states that the arrangement is meant to strengthen bilateral relations and ease the movement of citizens. The government of the Republic of South Sudan and the government of the United Arab Emirates have agreed to strengthen bilateral cooperation between the 2 countries, confirming their willingness to exempt the nationals of both countries from entry visa requirements. The purpose of the Memorandum of Understanding is to develop bilateral relations, strengthen the existing cooperation between the 2 countries, and exempt their nationals from entry visa requirements, he said. Dr. Weck also presented an air services agreement that was first signed in 2015. The deal is intended to facilitate international flights between and beyond the territories of both countries. It is also expected to expand air transport opportunities and promote cooperation. He further tabled an agreement on the avoidance of double taxation and prevention of fiscal evasion, signed in 2019. The treaty aims to eliminate double taxation on income and encourage investment between South Sudan and the UAE. Following the presentation, Speaker Jiminunu Kumba referred the documents to the Parliamentary Committees on Foreign Affairs, National Security, Finance and Planning, and Legislation and Justice. The committees are expected to study the documents and report back to the House within 2 weeks. South Sudan, China pledged deeper cooperation in peace building and development. Juba, South Sudan and China have pledged to strengthen cooperation in peace building and development, with officials from both nations highlighting shared priorities and ongoing projects at a high-level symposium held in Juba on Monday. The China-South Sudan High-Level Peace and Development Symposium, co-hosted by the Chinese Embassy and the University of Juba, brought together government leaders, diplomats, and academics under the theme, Building a Community with a Shared Future for Humanity. University of Juba Vice-Chancellor, Professor Robert Mayam Deng, said the forum aimed to reinforce dialogue and expand partnerships in areas of mutual concern, including international order, justice, and poverty reduction. Representing Beijing, Chinese Embassy Charge d'Affaires Hua Ying outlined a series of ongoing projects funded by China, including the Phase 2 expansion of Juba Teaching Hospital, a water wheel drilling project, the Dream Tower Technology Project, and the Safe City Initiative. She emphasized that these programs reflect China's long-term commitment to South Sudan's stability and development. China will continue to play a constructive role within our capacity for South Sudan's development and prosperity in the future, Ying said. The symposium also spotlighted the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which has played a central role in financing infrastructure and knowledge exchange across Africa. In South Sudan, Chinese-backed efforts have ranged from hospitals and road construction to scholarships and technology transfer. South Sudan's Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Martin Elia Lamaro, welcomed China's support but stressed that peace remains the cornerstone of all development efforts. For South Sudan, peace is not a luxury. Peace is a necessary foundation of our national state building and a lifeline, Lamaro said, urging deeper cooperation through practical ways that China has demonstrated in supporting South Sudan's nation-building process. The symposium took place as South Sudan continues to grapple with political uncertainty and the fragile implementation of its peace process ahead of planned national elections. Analysts say China has steadily positioned itself as a key development partner, leveraging infrastructure, health, and education projects while also providing diplomatic backing to Juba in regional and international forums. Observers note that Beijing's strategy of development through stability aligns closely with Juba's own priorities. At the same time, South Sudan's reliance on Chinese investment, particularly in the oil sector and public infrastructure, underscores how central the relationship has become to the young nation's recovery and long-term state building. President Salva Kiir sacked Finance Minister Dr. Mariel Dongrenatier and Investment Minister Dr. Dumathik Dying on Thursday. The announcements, broadcast on state-run South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation, named Athian Dying Athian as the new finance minister and Joseph Mamajak as the new investment minister. The reshuffle comes as South Sudan grapples with a battered economy and a challenging investment climate, raising questions about whether the new appointees can steer the country toward stability. South Sudan's economy has been on shaky ground for years, battered by a combination of internal strife and external shocks. The 2013 to 2018 civil war gutted the nation's oil production, its economic lifeline, leaving government coffers depleted. More recently, conflict in neighboring Sudan has disrupted crude oil exports, further squeezing revenue. The International Monetary Fund projects inflation at a staggering 54.8% for 2025, while the South Sudanese pound has plummeted, losing about a third of its value against the dollar in recent months. Don Grin, who took the finance portfolio in July 2024, faced these daunting challenges during his brief tenure. His appointment followed a string of short-lived finance ministers, 6 since 2020, reflecting the instability in the role. Don Grin, a former Deputy Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority, aimed to stabilize the economy through measures like consolidating government bank accounts and boosting non-oil revenue. However, his tenure was too short to yield significant results, and no official reason was given for his dismissal. Managing Director of Nilpet Inji Ewell Inger Kager Courtesy. Employees of South Sudan's state-owned oil company accused their managing director of deliberately avoiding the office to evade questions about months of unpaid salaries, a crisis they say has caused deepening despair. Speaking to Radio Tamazuj on Tuesday, several staff members at the Nile Petroleum Corporation, Nilpet, described a leadership vacuum. They said Managing Director Ewell Inger Kager, appointed in October 2024, has become largely absent from headquarters, rarely engaging with senior management or the company's more than 3,000 employees. The primary complaint is non-payment. Staff say they have not received salaries or allowances since April, a crisis worsened by the suspension of food rations and medical insurance. While salaries had previously been cut by 70% due to an oil shutdown triggered by the war in Sudan, workers say they expected full pay to resume after production restarted in February. There has been no communication, said one employee, who like others spoke on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisals. We were expecting the managing director to inform us when salaries would resume and arrears would be paid. But since then, nothing. Instead, they say Kager has become increasingly elusive. Several employees said he now works primarily from other locations, including the Radisson Blu Hotel and the offices of Nile Orange, a South African company awarded an oil block in Jonglei State. He doesn't come to the office frequently. Sometimes he shows up for an hour, then leaves to avoid any engagement with staff, said one employee. Another claimed Kager often arrives only after 5 p.m., long after most employees have left for the day. I think he's afraid to come to the office because he knows staff will ask why he's refusing to pay salaries, the employee added. The discontent boiled over in June when employees staged a sit-in strike demanding Kager's removal. The workers' union also took its grievances to South Sudan's National Security Service, which, 2 months ago, instructed the managing director to resolve the dispute. Employees say the directive was ignored and that the situation has since worsened. They report colleagues have died from illnesses they could not afford to treat, children have been pulled from school over unpaid fees, and families have been evicted from their homes. "We are just surviving through the grace of God," said one employee. "We rely on friends and relatives." Despite the hardships, staff allege that Kager continues to hire new employees, including relatives. Nilpet's director of public relations, advocate Ayul Khan Leek, declined to comment on the allegations against the managing director when contacted by Radio Tamazuch. The company serves as the commercial arm of South Sudan's Ministry of Petroleum and manages the resource that accounts for over 90% of the nation's revenue. Staff are now appealing directly to President Salva Kiir to intervene. "We are calling on the president to intervene because the managing director does not care about the problems facing the staff who are working in a very important sector, which is oil," said one employee. "The only solution is to remove him." U.S. renews demand for credible probe into journalist Christopher Allen's killing. August 26, 2025, Juba City. The Embassy of the United States in Juba on Tuesday reiterated its call for a credible investigation into the 2017 killing of freelance journalist Christopher Allen, marking 8 years since his death in South Sudan. Allen, 26, who held both U.S. and U.K. citizenship, was shot dead on August 26, 2017, in Kaya, Central Equatoria State, near the South Sudan-Uganda border. He had been embedded with opposition SPLAIO forces for 3 weeks at the time of the battle. August 26, 2025, marks the 8th anniversary of the death of U.S. journalist Christopher Allen in 2017. Mr. Allen was killed in South Sudan while covering the civil war between the SPLA and the SPLA in opposition, the embassy statement read. "We renew our call on the transitional government of South Sudan to conduct a credible investigation into Mr. Allen's death and the disrespectful treatment of his remains." Investigations under scrutiny. For years, South Sudanese officials resisted international calls for an inquiry. It was only in October 2023, following sustained pressure from Washington, London, and press freedom groups, that the government constituted a committee to investigate Allen's death. In March 2024, committee chair David Charles Ali Bilal presented the findings at a press conference, describing the incident as an unintentional killing. Christopher Allen was unintentionally killed as a result of crossfire, Bilal said. He added that the battle began at 5:30 a.m., making it difficult for combatants to determine who is black and who is white. The report also echoed the remarks of Information Minister Michael Makwei, who, shortly after Allen's death, said the journalist had entered South Sudan illegally and was not wearing press-identifying clothing or protective gear. However, the U.S. Embassy in March 2024 rejected the findings, arguing that they failed to address critical questions about the chain of events, the circumstances of Allen's death, and the alleged mistreatment of his body. Allegations of disrespect. Beyond his death, the handling of Allen's remains sparked outrage. Rights groups and media watchdogs have accused South Sudanese soldiers of parading his body in a degrading manner after the battle. The embassy's statement Tuesday underscored that the disrespectful treatment of his remains remains a core concern. Reactions and wider context. Christopher Allen, a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania, had worked in conflict zones in Ukraine and elsewhere before traveling to South Sudan. His death was widely condemned by press freedom organizations, including the Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ, and Reporters Without Borders, RSF, who described the incident as emblematic of the dangers faced by reporters in war zones. The US and UK governments have consistently pressured Juba for accountability. In 2019, the US Congress passed a resolution honoring Allen's work and demanding justice. His parents, John and Joyce Allen, have also campaigned tirelessly for answers, accusing South Sudan of stonewalling the investigation. South Sudan, which remains in a fragile transition after its devastating civil war, has long faced criticism for its treatment of journalists. At least 10 reporters have been killed since independence in 2011, according to local rights monitors, with few cases ever resolved. Washington's message to Juba. Tuesday's embassy statement comes at a time of heightened tension between Washington and Juba over governance and human rights issues. Earlier this year, the U.S. warned of tougher sanctions if South Sudan fails to make progress on the peace process and transitional reforms. By renewing its call on the Allen case, observers say Washington is signaling that accountability for crimes against journalists remains central to its engagement with South Sudan. Justice delayed is justice denied, a U.S. official familiar with the matter said. 8 years is far too long for the family of Christopher Allen and for the principle of press freedom.
Mala matidliam kadel. I shall let the long katadun can ne. Take a left to go to Bonabune Temnia, Gayam Guama. And I corner, Ray with South Sudan, take it to one long to talk, or any entertainment up to content in her. Ray left and go near come here. Blaran yam radian, a key. Nyakwar, Adut Salvakir, Mumpailalet, la presidential invite for on a special program. Kata entire landet keja, las kejano tegatumanda wuro buto, karen intebano tendai commissioner lari, akabidia pan ke kalare panishine kamye. I contin buto milling conga calcala. Lot kamanong Salvakir mano and Adageja. Jare kwara gaya o ba president sal invite o jen bala di altin kon tin tuok o jen jakan chanai chakangatan tema goro bala nyada bala di altin kon tin room ke video room ke South Sudan ke ki wargang ke na iroin yala balat ke ki mutab ka kwar a binyada bakalarian ano wargabu bana win meridian binyara deal ke jajan Bernajan wo mula ramo re wika South Sudan. A kamite ga dom da andal kaya be belada mo belat. A kan nisho ka kwar ni salpa kema yadit. Na mo aja lor kama non kwar ni salpa kema yadit nyad na ne adut kaya belela presidential invite on a special program. Ono wargang dialo bandul tukur. A tinba kamutab kwar kapilan dialo balat tin dialo tika. Tin ana magur ko balat ke South Sudan te mitigene ka South Sudan abinya daije ke nyam bokolo ka kwar namo janbot kamen non kwar ni salpa ke me ya di no nya ta ke anyok mandodian man kune la goro no bine larje ke biarling a lot ndi non salpa ke nya nga dut ke ja ne kona en kuma South Sudan chaje trade long we to kokien ke mon da den akakiko chika kwar opposition leaders ne Dr. Machar chika na yen katejen ke cha yen dara kata dang ka yen dara gajamo a che kwarin mon kokien a che garwain to wan chikan kalat ke chika wargang to wan long chikan kagar a to gar kan kuma dung South Sudan umbut ka salva ke me yadit ara irwain to chikuma South Sudan chagwijano bitim wan bika jiaga long chagaman ne kona no take a sanction to wan long te chaon no ba kam South Sudan ka kiko makan kan kwarna Dr. Machar kana nekat no kona chaga yen ke an makan kan kaloi ka dem rizana mono te to wan long to wajak ka kuma South Sudan an tinyin yonathan amana sanction to guln Larodian railway ka South Sudan chet ko Chiji South Sudan chikan bidal winitin Chaka pino biga watan. Ana amuta ka passport dung South Sudan. Chaka pino biga jal rar. Namo sanction ker mjek di South Sudan bejalong. Kan bu chaka pino te biga kogomet wendu ko ken. Mekan kan tin kon and chaka jogu bialat mekan kan ko kon jako biga walat. Te toy joku ma South Sudan ke je kwar South Sudan ke bejalong. Ci kwashin Salvakir ma yari de kula alaka no banyada benon ka gurko nuwa bol melwa laping ka non ka loin doctor ko ne kono no doctor ka jala by president no ke pas by president ka South Sudan mungur no Salvakir television mudong de rep ma chat de luin ka ja kam wat bol men hodo yuko gor Salvakir gorejan wo be bol mel bela ping abi rep ma char baluin ka bol beloy guade medan etetan no mo jan la rodan tamma che yo gor no badot atara mangyata re kuma ka adet mi rodan ku nyare la te ke ja ke no nyada ke mukap ke ja ko bi nyada la diar ba ka bulat dan du bol mel bela ping belo gor guad de den belatan la kona linga no bol mel agenta nyasal peken adut bache jalote anyasal peken adut jan ramu cha kon kwen no wood winka ka gwan ne shewa raman taken kel mala chawde wood winka duno katala kon kwai nyalat ke ja kon war de kon chala no en bol mel jan dar dere shel karlom kenya salva ke ma yadit en kam adut ken chawde me chi kwen mala wood winka ta chit daka kemo ke ta tega kemo taram weja o kane chi dak wala kan ka dak ana mo si ko na nget duno man to mi jano anta minya self care shaben ka system kane kon ruan te zalat lung aka kriu de misala bol mel and what a kan no ga system che la dano bol mel ramechwar jan che kwa wecha ka kwal tala dom de lat ka right, la da waja mo ka kwika mi cha bol mel cha la deputy. Chairperson ke as well empate. Che la na kal do mi de bol mel de la deputy chairperson ka pa de ja. Ke jan cha kwa wich tumwan along cha karior. Ke cha wich no ri tumwan ko cha wich a sanchin ka kwide. Talo do mi de wouldn't mi share ka bol mel de upgrade ke ja ke de la lat. A kukuma ba mi ka kom din mi share ka jan komo mo. Cara aja mala dekan na bun keluarga. Antama nama aja bulmel jaga jaba jalong. O ci adu caban ke sistem cang man neko na nya kwarnuan. Ada dundaro ai cerka malanyin kalada. Dudu antama ko caban ke sistem cara mu tekalong. Jaja pujan o de bulmel dere yik chuich. Kaka den roi wecha kel kena adut Salvakir ma yadit. Najatin ci adut kalas ke kwide. Kena jaman de adut lelbang mi ci adut ban. Cerca me saben la kwara antama. Namane akal mudir bol mel long antama. Jajan wo bol mel. Te karo den. Jajan wo janaramu ba wich ka kwara. Ko ba kwar ni Salvakir ma yadit ba yiglo indul yen kalo inde dul yen ka. Chabulo ini de bang barluin aluj agwade me teten ala vice president ke pass by president. Namane ajana la diwin mont diala en wo ajana butwok. Namane cha wit bol mel cha yi cha long ko ngai jan o jaraman be Salvakir ba gwijanta man o be ja kapin wi ko am kwarada aka kabda pin talamu dang ba lel ba kwarn doctor ma char ba ja chuk ba chui da lor ka dul yen ka ma char latin kan dan cha yen ka ya dara namane ajana butwak antama an Adut Salvakir ma yadit chang jalat ka chawa tung tok cha kamangai kona anoi chawa ka mutabda areren chalat chala da no be ropiji dial tentaka kakuma chalat no bagaloi dawich a chala bono be kuma dung South Sudan membut ka ban Salvakir ma yadit abaja improve ke bajaraleka kalonga dana cha kama ko be igoro no betindi ala tol baga yiwa no der karalaka ka peglo nga madana cha kama raja mo aro in michaladan tama an kwarna dus Salvakir ma yadit en o be ropiji dial ke ne to alu tindak pencha nanka ka kuma Within chalat karada ekakuma kene vita ko ken kene kalat chalani jano ne diala kon saat tendakin chow kakuma abaka loida wit ka dia we jabono be yegon no barai ko kiwien to ko ken tin ne kon ka tin chidak chiga watan mando den da kon ling a kwika ane kon ke 2017 ko ke 2013 au ke 2015 chikon mudi chatazan ke Juba isman chala civil war to South Sudan kab nore Canada kaya don ka nore na ke jalong are kora mona ka kor ka miji ko tabichon ke 2015 to mala to travel no lot megu kwarne Dr. Emma Chakwe ke Juba kaja ake 2016 to kor dong yaw talk kore talk are kora mona chaila no take a journalist dun kawai ga misanak ke kora mo and journalism on time chara de nyaw kamnial US and wo gor ko jan wo bukuma South Sudan bayig la de no new journalism ma liu edidi chara yama chai genial tama journalism wa chala Christopher a journalist milat ke jan ta medane to civil war te tin ka South Sudan la ler la ka toba anta mai chara yama chai genial US and wo gor ken wo bara buada bailat and wo reare didine aka taken kuma South Sudan and wo ba responsible kalia journalist kama shirka na wana no maninta ma mita janyal kuma USA cha kuma South Sudan cha take jano gone wo biane la taye dang chiriar ka journalista mita wedun ka 2017 Christopher na mane ametata na tama ticheni kat kantin tuawanta marai kuma ka kere dul kwar indeed kana nega to kontagan kel datilaro dena no bayik tuagano Bataka kuka kwart ba kaping ka bajaja no ba kwara ai utun kone ta yen dulien akan naga Dr. Emma Chara o kan ka dial tun ta kora te ta yen kel bajaja no baga kamrar a katijen mando dian de koneling an wala tajala de no Ramadan and chara de no a kwara o ne Stephen Parkwall chirai buraran warla mo chiga teral ke raman chiga dorajur ke Juba man kuka latken kukan lalatin awai chigwan cheng cha dorajur che laran mo biajen dora ko yen cha kanta le yoto mun yen ka jojan bono tega kwakte be peno bakanang ka kiyon ka tin kan kama ka pet tin kon dare yu itin jor ke chieng dere ka gor ke ja awakan chiga pel ko bika yo pikan gatop kan neta konante kor Esteban Parkwall akan kona ni Esteban Parkwall talagwam dong jaga pandatin panadong dere ka nuare kacha chuja adbano nuare dial chikan Esteban Parkwall chikan mo ke yo kone kona no Esteban Parkwall jan aram misela da kwen karada kacha kabane ba ka dijar ko jan chayen ne ke ne te ko ne chayen me cha honorable potka me cha ono no din dir barar de loin me cha jloin bibin ben chong ka was Dr. Emma Chara no bijin benokwar as well am IO ti honorable potka che charai misel kana wa chelok duno chi Stephen Parkwall charai misel kana wa chel na wane ajendo de kwele barage ja dul yenka kana mo dwale ka tijin kano gore jeno balwar kana nugda ka kwar eno dera kwar dera kan kwizamo kitini kana gone bine ka tiembiano antama ne de kona chaloro as well empathy tin te koru de misali Stephen Parkwall taga joera dul chikana gyurka kiko chigaton ko biga yobu kan de European ko kan te Georgian wotala kayo ko kanta lam ko ga support ntama trani kana to ntama rewe ka Juba tiloi da te da long yen liang ko dial ka ta dun kel kane ko la yen buk ka chana lama ko bia la to dial ko no kam ne ka ye len ka panaling Chưa lên này dial thêm phải bận cái dân channel kia phải rồi điên mặt cái dân channel mà diong này yên ô bia kamal bore channel mà wana dian ô bia channel mà bia nhóc mà nukun dial kan nijek melon ô bia je share dia muy cái lát bắn kia bia muy cái yat minyo no gelar dia lo con lát này kamun cái lát trên cam này cái yatin ne cái lát phát thuốc chine gut chine cái jek goi chine nong gelar thì kai ne cái lát phát thuốc chika kai ne ka kwinan to kon te cái dân channel mà nó vẫn đã lên này ta loan mình đi long kata dun kel kan ini siang ko len ben link ke lare to kon nong ne ke ya te loy da long ke ya ka kwi jamo chila da te dia tamal